Black patriarch.
Virginia, at the largest wood furniture manufacturing plant in America. John, you have kept these American jobs here in the day and age of global economy. It must have been tough. How have you done it?
We modernized, we innovated, we were not afraid to invest in this company and in this country. We've got to be willing to compete, and everybody in this company wants to compete. We don't run away just because we have competition.
We're on the construction site in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and we're finding out what these workers think about the election.
Well, I think Donald Trump, for our business and especially for the Johnstown area, would be a lot better choice. Donald Trump is for less regulations. Hillary Clinton, I think, just continues the Obama world of regulations.
But not everyone agrees. Rick Elliott is a foreman here. Rick, your political thoughts? You're not a Trump guy.
I am not a Trump guy. I say go Hillary.
You like Hillary?
Looking for a fresh 4 years.
Your boss is fair and balanced. If for some reason you get put on the 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. shift and can't vote in November, you'll tell us, right?
Yes, I will.
The Hasidic world is hierarchical, deferential, which means that there are clearly assigned roles for all peoples in it. There are adults, there are children, there are men, there are women, there are rabbis, there are laymen. And people have roles. And there's none of this contemporary yearning, this contemporary agony over being in one role and really want to be someone else. You don't have children that want to be adults or women that want to be men or men that want to be women. So that it's a traditional society in that sense.
Now, we all have some understanding of what the elite are. And every society, every civilization, every nation has its elites. And the elites are generally people who not only control the bulk of the nation's resources, they also are the main influencers of the society. They set the agenda of the society, and not just the fashion or cultural agenda, but the economic, political, social agenda of the society. So everyone, whether they're pro or anti-elitism, has to do with the reality that societies and social structures tend to generate class stratifications, and at the top of that class stratification is the elite.
We want elite pilots to fly our planes. We want elite soldiers to fight in our armies. In any area where we really give a damn, we want the elite in that field. We want highly qualified people. Elitism somehow became a dirty word in the sense that it's kind of tied to this idea that they're looking down their nose at you, the little man. I guess that would better be represented by, arrogance and specifically, unjustified condescension or whatever. But the fact that somebody is qualified in an area, be it a political area or a scientific area or a particular field, you want your elite athletes to go to the Olympics to represent your country. This idea of having some expertise, that's something that we should be lauding, and that's something we should be striving for. We should want the best people in different areas doing that work.
A locomotive is the powerful vehicle at the front of a train which pulls the cars along the track. Sometimes there's a second one pushing from behind as well. Passenger train locomotives are smaller and designed primarily for speed.
They were driven by a kind of collective cultural ego.
Rome's colossal building projects, stadiums, palaces, roads, aqueducts, spanned 3 continents and unleashed the power and promise of the world's most advanced civilization.
These structures became symbols of that idea of Rome.
Road building is one of the great indicators of a successful civilization. No one before them had built with the long-term planning, precision, and scope of those the Roman Empire left behind. The first great Roman roads were begun in the 4th century BC. They were still building them in the far reaches of the empire as late as the 4th century AD. While the army did provide almost all of the manual labor for road construction outside of Italy, closer to Rome, civilian did much of the backbreaking work.
The general's name was Charles the Hammer Martel. As commander-in-chief of the Frankish army, Martel would anticipate the unique threat posed by the Moorish invasion and take proactive steps to confront it head-on. But to do so, he would first have to convince his own countrymen to trade their plowshares for swords. In Dark Ages Europe, most troops were farmers who were only available to fight between the spring planting and the fall harvest.
Louis XIV is a young 20-year-old man. The daughter of Gaston d'Orléans painted his portrait, which according to people of the time is quite accurate. Louis XIV summons the members of his council and tells them that he has resolved to be head of his own state and would rely upon himself. During this brief interview, Louis XIV fires his counselors by simply telling them, "When I have need of your good advice, I will call you." Determined to restore order in his kingdom, the king keeps only 3 ministers, with Fouquet as finance minister.
Just think, turn of the 20th century, beginning of the 20th century, and ask yourself, where were the smartest people, the highest IQ people in the United States? Where were they concentrated? And if you think about that question for a minute, you don't even need to go to any history books. You can just say to yourself, well, you had a very large proportion of the population that were farmers and shop owners. And you also had half the population, adult female population, essentially, were housewives. And so if you want to know where an awful lot of the smartest people were, an awful lot of them were farmers and housewives. And they were also small shop owners, and for that matter, they were mechanics. And because at that time, advanced education and the kinds of occupations that require high IQ were both very rare.
At 36, Emmanuel Macron has become the youngest economy minister since 1962, when former President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing held the post. Macron was a star student at the elite school ENA, an institution that trains its students to enter politics and the civil service. He made his fortune as a Rothschild banker. For the Prime Minister, Macron is just what France's economy needed.
Slavery is over, and you have public education, mass education, so African Americans are able to get these jobs that require formal education, such as lawyers, doctors, teachers. They're able to get those roles. And once they get those roles, then the classes start to vary more, and then you have the emergence of this elite African American class.
African Americans have long been acknowledged for their creativity and genius in theater, dance, music, art, and literature. But there's another kind of creative contribution African Americans have made, and that's the art of invention. The person most responsible for gathering information on early black inventors was Henry E. Baker, an assistant U.S. patent officer and graduate of Harvard Law School. Baker dedicated his life to uncovering and publicizing the contributions of black inventors. By the time of his death, his work produced 4 massive volumes and uncovered some remarkable inventions patented by black men and women.
Wiley Jones was a former African-American slave who went into Arkansas. He stacked his money up and he became a railroad owner. He owned a railroad system, and the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas ended up buying his railroad system, and that system is still owned by Pine Bluff right now. The Patterson Car Company was a car company founded by former slaves, African-American men, and the Patterson Car Company was the first African-American car manufacturer in the country, I think the only manufacturer in the country. And what's interesting about the Patterson Car Company, it was in Ohio. Their cars were considered higher quality than the Model T cars that Henry Ford had.
Jeremiah G. Hamilton was a savvy Wall Street financier who 10 years before the Civil War became known as New York's only black American millionaire. By 1875, he accumulated a fortune of $2 million. His exploits first generated headlines in 1828. This led many of his white business adversaries to label him the Prince of Darkness, while others simply referred to him as Nigger Hamilton.
Alonzo Franklin Herndon was born in 1858 in Social Circle, Georgia. After emancipation in 1865, Alonzo, his brother, and his mother became sharecroppers. At age 20, Alonzo moved on, opened a barber shop in Jonesboro, and started down the road to a business empire in Atlanta. Atlanta Life Insurance was Alonzo Herndon's third occupation after barbering and real estate. He is widely considered Atlanta's first black millionaire.
Very unique, extremely unique. Very few people out of slavery were able to do very much more than preach or teach if they were afforded an education at all.
In the early 20th century, a black middle-class community called Greenwood thrived in Tulsa, Oklahoma, despite segregation and Jim Crow laws.
Booker T. Washington declared Greenwood as a Negro Wall Street of America.
Many African-American communities in the United States were thriving in the 1910s and 20s. Many African-American communities in the United States were thriving in the 1910s and 20s. But the high level of home ownership in Greenwood made Tulsa's black district distinctive.
Actually, Auburn Avenue was developed a number of years ago, but because the South was segregated, it had to have a particular place where blacks could go, for business, recreation, theater, etc. So Auburn Avenue was founded and started by blacks. Then this became a corridor for developing black businesses. You had the barbershops, you had accountants, you had physicians, you had eye doctors, you had theaters, and one time in '57, Fortune magazine called Auburn Avenue the richest Negro street in the world.
We had some very industrious people a long time ago. The privilege of trying to do something for self and to be an entrepreneur, it all depends on the individual.
And I always say that these blacks in those days, even during segregation, did more and built more than we can even maintain today.
For more than a century, the North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company in Durham, North Carolina, has stood as a glowing symbol of black self-determination and business achievement in America. North Carolina Mutual's leadership was very influential in helping black residents of Durham at the turn of the century build one of the most successful and self-sufficient black communities in America. This community was known as Hayti.
Here in the center of Negro Durham, more commonly called Hayti,
The lifeblood of the community is represented in this busy populace, going vigorously about their daily activities. We are reminded that Hayti is almost completely self-sufficient in her shopping facilities. When clothes are soiled, there is a convenient cleaner where they will be promptly and carefully restored to their original beauty. The Royal Cleaners, a familiar name to housewives and particular dressers in Durham, has served this community faithfully and well since first established. The progressive business spirit and civic-minded interest of Negro Durham is typified in J.C. Scarborough's enterprises. Owner of Scarborough Hargett Funeral Home, Mr. Scarborough founded this business out of a need for such services for his people. No doubt this same motive instigated the establishment of the Southern Fidelity Mutual Insurance Company, one of Negro Durham's largest enterprises. An essential service to Hayti's business and social life is that of the Service Printing Company. Whether for large orders on job printing or small personal orders, Service Printing is adequately equipped to produce fine results. You will find many beautiful homes in Hayti, from the large, pretentious ones on beautiful shaded lawns to the smaller, neat bungalows. There vibrates a wholesome substantiality which gives this community a fine dignity. While Negro Durham has many fine homes already established, hundreds more are springing up in the community. Perhaps most outstanding in this new building era is the name Berry Company Incorporated, one of Durham's more progressive businesses. Since first organized, they have contributed substantially to the physical improvement of this area by erecting numerous buildings and homes. While the company was founded to serve the people, it also serves as an ideal standard of good business methods in Hayti. The systematic and efficient methods of office routine in serving the public make Southern Fidelity Mutual Insurance a credit to its people and the business life of this community. Of course, after these homes are built, they must be furnished, too. Here at Baldwin's Furniture Store, a complete stock of lovely home furnishings is available at prices to fit the individual's pocketbook. Mr. Baldwin, the owner and operator, has your interest at heart when he stocks his store with these fine pieces. This beautiful structure is Dr. Leroy Swift's contribution to Hayti's medical advantages. This outstanding medical center is evidence of Dr. Swift's interests in the advancement and health of Negro Durham and places him among Durham's most valuable citizens. Of course, Negro Durham's largest medical center is the Lincoln Hospital, another example of civic pride. Farther down Fayetteville Street, another heartbeat of Hayti lies in its college life. Here at North Carolina College, approximately 1,500 students and a faculty and staff of 128 is one of the 4 Negro colleges in the United States approved by the Association of American Universities. With this well-rounded variety of services and conveniences already established in Hayti, there should be no limit to the future development and progress of the community.
The Boulay, which I belong to, was founded in 1906, and it's had members like Virginia Governor Douglas Wilder, Ron Brown, who worked for the Clinton administration, Vernon Jordan, a lot of very accomplished black men. This W.E.B. Du Bois is one of the earliest members of the organization. Now, many of these groups are very quiet within, you don't hear about them in the mainstream media. In many cases, you don't hear about them in the black media, but there is a lot of good that they do in raising money. Some people don't understand, well, why does there need to be a national organization for affluent black kids? What's the purpose of that? They created it because of segregation, because they recognized that They were raising their children in a city that the kids were not allowed to go to the public museums. They couldn't go to use certain public swimming pools, couldn't go to certain public theaters. They couldn't ride on certain buses. So their concern was, well, some of us have our own swimming pools. Some of us have access to institutions where we can bring these kids together and teach them and make them feel good about their black identity. And at the same time, maybe even bring them together with other black children in other cities that are similar to them. So that's why they created that organization. Many people ask, well, how much money do these individuals have? It's not an issue of how much money. They don't ask the question, how much money do you have? The questions they ask are, you know, where did your grandfather go to medical school? You know, what debutante cotillion did your great-grandmother come out in? Those are the kinds of issues. I still think there's certain industries and professions that are still not welcomed into this group, and those are people that come from out of the entertainment industry and people who made their millions through sports. Those groups still seem to be left out, which is pretty frightening, because you think, you know, if you can say no to someone like, you know, like a Michael Jordan or an Oprah Winfrey or a Bill Cosby, then you're really drawing an incredible line. It's pretty frightening, because you look at someone like Bill Cosby, who's given like $20 million to Spelman College. But if people said to me, they said, well, his wife is actually a part of the group, you know, or they made the distinctions between, they said Vernon Jordan just got pushed over the top because of his wife, Ann Dibble, because her father was a famous surgeon, and her grandfather was a famous architect who designed all the buildings at Tuskegee Institute, now Tuskegee University. So for them, they said, you know, certain family members and some families make it, but certain spouses don't make it.
The Niagara Movement was a very influential group during the Civil Rights era. It led to the foundation of the NAACP, a significant organization that was able to continue the Niagara Movement's work for the abolition of segregation and discrimination in the United States, to oppose racism, and to ensure African Americans their constitutional rights.
In the lecture on Black-Jewish relations, Africa 93, we talked about W.B. Du Bois' role in attacking Marcus Garvey. Well, it was deeper than we ever thought. We found out that the Harlem Renaissance, in fact, was a distraction established by Jewish philanthropy to deter Africans from back to Africa to get involved in poetry, art, science, music, as a distraction and a diversion from the goals and aspirations of Marcus Garvey.
And there's another aspect of this, and that is the issue of skin color. Because even as awkward and uncomfortable, a lot of people have been very upset with me in dealing with this. They look at the photos in the book, like on the cover, and they say, well, why are all these black folks so light complexion? Why are they so light skinned? And I tell them, well, historically, the black upper class has been a group of people that has embraced the notion that the brown paper bag and ruler test was important. If you're darker than a brown paper bag, or your hair is not as straight as a ruler, you were not welcomed into their organizations. You were not welcome into their social groups. And I go back to the beginning, when Africans came to this country, because we did not divide ourselves initially. It was the plantation owners that divided us into the house niggers and the field niggers, where you had the dark-skinned blacks working in the fields in the harder labor, and then you had the light-skinned blacks that they put in the plantation owners' home in the quote-unquote prestige jobs, like the mammies and cooks and butlers and servants. And then what happened is these two different caste systems were created. So you had light-skinned blacks who got the better opportunity, better housing, opportunity for better education, and also better employment. And then you had the dark-complexioned blacks that did not have those same opportunities. These two caste systems stayed intact. So light-skinned blacks married each other. They created certain organizations. They were the first ones to go to schools like Howard and Morehouse and Spelman and Fisk University and Harry.
The Links Incorporated was organized by two women, Margaret Hawkins and Sarah Strickland Scott, very close friends, women of purpose and commitment in the Philadelphia community. And they felt at that time, with the issues that were confronting our country in the mid-20th century, that there was a need for an organization of individuals who were well-positioned, who had access, who had vision, and who had voice. They gathered several other friends, 7 to be exact, and they began to think through how can we make an impact on those things that are impacting the African American community.
But if you look at these organizations today, they are far more inclusive and broad-reaching than they were even 20 years ago. And frankly, even from city to city, like I said, Washington and Atlanta seem to control these groups much differently than the way they are run in cities like Detroit or New York or Los Angeles.
It's a rite of passage and a nod to tradition. Young African-American men don top hats and tails for the Jack and Jill Botillion, which honors those who've achieved excellence, and many of whom have overcome great adversity. And joining us today is outstanding local high school senior beau, Langston Williams. Welcome, Langston.
Hi, how are you?
Why do you concentrate so much on the preparation for the Botillion?
Well, we want this experience to be a celebration of these young men and what they're doing for the community, and it's an honor to see their parents' faces on that night. So it's important to recognize young men, young teenagers doing well in the community.
Just 100 years after Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation that freed the slaves, 200,000 people converge on the nation's capital to rally for civil rights. They come by train, they come by bus and by air. They come from the north, the south, the east and west. They come united in one cause, to urge Congress to pass a civil rights bill to end forever the blight of racial inequity.
As the civil rights era gained steam across America, the stability of Hayti and Black Durham and the fates of many other successful black communities began to take a different turn.
But as time went on, when integration came in, some of the people was led to believe that the grass was green on the other side.
What put us out of business was not Duke Powell, who we put out of business. What put us out of business was integration. We had black cab companies. We had 2 black cab companies, the Harris and Camel City cab companies. They went out of business. You know why? Blacks didn't want to ride in the black cabs anymore. They want to ride in the white cabs.
For a while, it seemed to the black community that the way to escape was to get as rich as possible and look as white as possible. And as affluence came to some black people, all the lessons of history and all the lessons of the movie seemed to be succeed on the white man's terms. So, the middle-class Negro took the white man's dreams and tried to make them his. Today, many middle-class Negroes have the education and the money to provide themselves with all the white man's dreams but one, universal social acceptability. He has not yet been able to join in any normal or casual way the white man's affluent society, so he has his own.
When the first family arrives on Martha's Vineyard, they will be returning to a familiar place. The president will be seeking the same experience as generations of successful black Americans.
Well, this area is all about tradition, it's all about family, it's going to give him a chance to relax.
Documentary A Place of Our Own chronicles African Americans who opened businesses and built summer homes. They even had their own beach, nicknamed the Inkwell.
It's been a place where, at least for the summer, the world did not look at us and define us solely by race.
Sag Harbor is a very special place.
This neighborhood was founded by African professionals, for African American professionals.
We came out for the summer. It was an escape from all the chaos and confusion that was rampant in America at the time.
It was your typical resort town, except we were all black.
And there were black folks just partying and listening to music and sunning. And I go, wow, that was magical.
I think the black upper class lives in an awkward position in between white America and the rest of black America, where they might be sending their kids to white schools and they might live in white neighborhoods, but at the same time a lot of them told me that they said, but we don't want our kids marrying outside of the black race. There's also this presumption among working class blacks that all upper class blacks look down on them, and there's a presumption among upper class blacks that they think that all working class blacks think that they're sellouts and trying to escape the black race.
As far as we know, the black community still has no equivalent of the Rockefellers or Vanderbilts. But we do know for sure that the number of affluent blacks in this country is growing. And they're not just entertainers or super athletes, and they no longer live in segregated, closed black societies. Prosperity has brought integration and mobility to the new black upper class, and along with it, questions about its responsibility to other blacks who are left behind. It has allowed newly affluent families like the Moores of Minneapolis entrance to private clubs once denied them.
Well, how are you? It's so good to see you.
To hobnob with influential and powerful people right around the corner from their home in a predominantly white neighborhood. Being almighty black so far has meant being boss of his own contracting firm. It's also meant having as an investment partner the son of the first black millionaire in Minneapolis, Archie Givens. Moore also leases equipment to a major retail merchandising corporation, whose president and board chairman are his personal friends.
Mr. Gertrude, the meeting is yours. Thank you much, Mr. Chairman.
Finally, he heads several boards without pay, including the powerful Minnesota State Personnel Board, which sets the salaries for all state employees.
If you can look at the 6 o'clock news, you can walk down the street on the other side of town.
Tom Tipton owns an advertising agency.
Corner of a pool shop, and look and see the people walking and hungry. And you see the hostility in their eyes because they just don't have it. You cannot remove yourself, even here in Minneapolis.
Tom Tipton never expected that his status in Minneapolis could also mean having the Vice President of the United States as best man at his wedding. But he makes no apologies for his achievements, which made it happen.
No, I have no guilt at all. The fight still goes on because you know what? Economically, not too much has changed. Not too much has changed. In fact, in some areas, we're going backwards.
There are people who would think that as a black, fairly well-to-do family, that you would feel isolated and separated from your own people and from the people that you live among because of your economic conditions. Do you feel separated? Do you feel isolated?
I feel no sense of isolation. I feel no sense of isolation.
It's my very great pleasure to be here, and I need to obviously recognize the organizers of this fantastic meeting. I have to tell you that, yes, I'm a theoretical physicist, so if any of you watched that television show called The Big Bang Theory, I'm one of the real people who does that stuff.
Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Ferguson.
Something pretty unusual in my life happened, which was I got appointed to the Fed, which was absolutely superb. The person who became my biggest supporter started off being my biggest critic, or doubter, not critic, doubter. So Alan Greenspan had no time for me. When we got into a little bit of a partisan situation, which exists now, I'm a Democrat, he was my biggest supporter in getting the Republican side of the aisle lined up behind me. And so, you know, it's gone from names you've never heard of to obviously some names that you have.
Hi, I'm Lisa Leiter. Here's your Chicago Business Today Midday Report. The chief executive of Commonwealth Edison is retiring. Frank Clark will leave the company next year following the completion of parent Exelon's buyout of Constellation Energy. The 66-year-old Clark has been with the company for more than 4 decades and became its first African-American CEO in 2005.
Marvin is the antithesis of your typical Fortune 500 CEO. He's one of only 5 African-American CEOs, and he happened upon his career in retail accidentally, getting a part-time job when he was at college at Target. He made his name, rose up in the ranks in Target, and then Home Depot hired him away. 2 years ago, he was passed over for the CEO job, and that's when JCPenney came a-knockin'. He has made it one of his practices to be in regular touch with the people on the front lines, the people in the stores.
Bernard J. Tyson became chairman and chief executive officer of Kaiser Permanente, a $55 billion nonprofit health system with 9.5 million members, in the midst of the biggest changes the American healthcare system has seen in generations. In 2014, Modern Healthcare declared Mr. Tyson the second most influential person in healthcare, behind only President Obama.
Hi, I'm Charles Phillips, CEO of Infor, and let me introduce Infor to you. So Infor is the 3rd largest business applications company in the world. We're based in New York City. We have about 13,000 employees. We do business in about 164 countries around the world. We also have about 1,500 partners who assist us in making sure we're delivering value to customers. So we look forward to working with you going forward. Thanks.
Eddie is the CEO of Brown Capital, a firm with over $8 billion in assets under management. Along with his wife Sylvia, the Browns are hoteliers, patrons of the black arts, and philanthropists. Eddie and Sylvia Brown led the way towards making this building a reality, one of the largest gifts from an African-American family in this nation's history. So you were born to a teenage mother in the Jim Crow South, on the wrong side of the track.
On the wrong side of the track, which means, as they say down south, dirt poor. Then we bought the building next door, because since we didn't do that, we bought this. And then, just September ago, we bought the next one, too. So Brown Capital is basically all 3 townhouses.
Even playing or having a chance to play in the NBA, you still knew that you were going to have to do something when you stopped playing. First 4 summers that I was at the NBA, I went to law school. I worked at Howard Johnson's at the desk, taking reservations and doing all those kind of things.
So after Bridgman left basketball, the very first thing he did was become a Wendy's franchisee. You know, it was a restaurant that he knew he liked, and he thought, this might be a way for me to succeed in business. He bought 5 Wendy's locations.
What I really found with the business is that if you go into it, one, thinking that you want to be the best at what you're doing, which is the best, whether it's selling hamburgers or chicken or whatever it is, and you want to make opportunities for people to better their lives. It's amazing how much success you can have if you just kind of follow those 2 parameters.
Fast forward to today, Bridgman Foods has over 200 Wendy's franchises, over 100 Chili's franchises, and Bridgman Foods is now the 2nd largest Wendy's franchisor in the country. And here's a guy who really did this quite organically, and again has had this fabulous success that really outstrips, by any metric, what he's done as a basketball player.
With an estimated net worth of $300 million, this BE100 CEO is among the nation's richest African Americans, and he's been called one of the most significant black figures in real estate.
I humbly listen to this and don't take too much stock in it.
Instead, Quentin Primo is quite clear about how he measures success.
It's how have I impacted positively people's lives, my employees, the people of my community, my family.
The chairman and CEO of the Chicago-based commercial real estate company Capri Capital Partners has racked up significant numbers since starting his business in 1992. He now has $5.3 billion under management.
Since a very small child, I was fascinated by buildings and architecture. I don't know where it came from, maybe a previous life, I don't know, but nonetheless, I always loved to build things, and I love buildings.
I mean, there's nothing that's high enough that Quentin doesn't feel he can get through.
Including the $30 million project other developers saw as impossible. The renovation of the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza Mall in South Central LA.
You like it?
Oh, I'm here all the time.
And I spent most of my career in the private sector as an investor in media and telecoms assets, but also spent a very interesting period of my career as the head of the Telecoms Regulatory Authority in the United States, the Federal Communications Commission, under President Bill Clinton.
Mr. Chenault holds a JD from Harvard Law School and a BA from History from Bowdoin College, and has received a number of honorary degrees from several other universities. Please help me give a warm, Texas-sized welcome to Dean Gilligan and Mr. Chenault.
So my first job was when I was 12 years old, and I worked as a stock boy and a bagger at my neighborhood grocery store.
To replace Bill Gates as chairman of Microsoft's board is named John Thompson, the CEO of Virtual Instruments, the world's largest software maker. Microsoft hopes his experience will help turn around the company. Microsoft's been struggling against rivals, including Apple and Google, as you well know. The 64-year-old has served as an independent director on the board of Microsoft.
Look, I think John Thompson's role at Microsoft in the last, let's call it 6 months, cannot be overstated, because they clearly made some really big non-Microsoft-like decisions at the board level, not least of all making the decision about the senior leadership change. And really, from what we understand, John Thompson was the guy directing the board to make the decisions that put pressure on Steve Ballmer and ultimately forced Ballmer out, even though Ballmer is one of the largest shareholders, one of the original Microsoft guys. And clearly John Thompson had a big role in picking his successor as well.
He's the founder, chairman, and CEO of Vista Equity Partners, a firm with over $26 billion under asset control. He's ranked by Forbes as the 268th richest person in America. He has an estimated net worth of over $3 billion. He's Robert F. Smith, and here's my take on his top 10 rules for success.
I am in the buyout business, and what we do is identify, in our case, it's enterprise software companies, and take them private, or if they are a private company, we buy all of the equity and then bring to bear a transformation in those businesses. We help them operate more efficiently, more effectively, typically expanding the size of their organizations, i.e. create more jobs, the opportunity set, more products they can sell to their customers, improve their revenue growth, improve their profit margins, and then sell it at a higher number at the end, and then return that capital back to our limited partners, and of course we take some portion of it for ourselves.
Merck making a major announcement today. It named Kenneth C. Frazier as Chief Executive Officer effective January 1st. Tell us about Kenneth Frazier.
Ken is a very inspiring character, actually. He came from Philadelphia. His father was a janitor. His father was the son of a sharecropper in South Carolina and moved away from home at 15 years old. And as he described it, around the dinner and breakfast table, talked about education and making a better future and instilled the values. And Ken went out and got a degree at Penn State and then Harvard Law School, and now he's the head of a Dow 30 company. It's a really inspiring story.
So the first thing is, are we living up to our own standards? And I think then this next thing is, and this is really important, companies have to recognize that they must engage with their publics. And often, the advice that we're given, especially when things go wrong, is to hide.
Welcome to The Big Interview. I'm Alan Murray, and I'm here with Ronald Williams, the CEO of Aetna, the nation's third largest health insurance company.
Many plans increase the level of preventive benefits for screenings and wellness, which is terrific from a consumer point of view. But the headline says that's free. In reality, that's reflected in the premium.
About a conversation that I had with Frank Clark when he was a CEO of ComEd in Chicago. Frank and I were in his office. It was just the two of us, and I had interviewed Frank for something. We were just having a conversation, a meeting, just the two of us. And Frank said, Roland, I'm really concerned about where we're going with young black boys and young black girls. And he said, as a CEO of an energy company, I really want us to do something about this issue of STEM. And I said, well, and I kind of figured out where he was going. I said, well, Frank, let me ask you a question. I said, when you go to schools, what happened? He said, well, bro, I go to schools, and he said, oh, the kids want to ask me about, what I make and stuff is that important. I said, Frank, first of all, Frank, you the CEO of ComEd. I said, how can you be shy about talking about how much you make when your salary in the SEC filing? I said, Frank, your salary public. It ain't like it's private. I said, Frank, why don't you do this here? I said, the next time you speak, this is what I want you to do. I want you to put on your best suit. I want you to put on your Rolex. I want you then to have tell them to have all the kids to be on the lawn or on the school front when you drive up in your chauffeur-driven car. He looked at me like I was crazy. I said, then when you walk in and you go into the auditorium and the first kid who says, how much you make? I want you to stand there and proudly say $4 million. I said, and at that point, Frank, you will have the immediate attention of every person in the room. I said, so when you begin to think about your lifestyle, you begin to think about what you do, you then can say, I got all of this as a result of science and technology and math.
Last season, you met Angie, who had one of the most extreme tumors on her face we'd ever seen. It's been almost 5 months since the surgery. Both Angie and her husband Josh join us now. I do want to welcome joining us the two doctors who graciously removed Angie's tumor for free. Dr. Ryan Osborne and Dr. Jason Hamilton from the Osborne Head and Neck Institute here in Los Angeles.
And I noticed that a lot of black people who obtain a high level of success and they have a lot of accomplishments and great credentials, they look down on you more than white people look down on you. Because you got a degree or because you came out the Marines that you better than somebody else, because you're not. You're not better than nobody.
And if you get to the second level of the, you know, the bougie black folk, they look down on black people like, you know, those aren't my people, you know. Like they okay, like they done made it already, you know. I hate when people treat people like that.
Some African Americans, you know, advance in society as far as financial means, is that they become indoctrinated by society, and they also become oppressors of African Americans or blacks that are in poverty. They don't identify with them. You know, they think that, you know, they're better actually than them. We could just jump right in the conversation. Do you guys think that there is a rift between, you know, the more wealthier black people in America versus the more low-income socioeconomic status black people?
Yes. I think that, like, one of the things that happens here is that there is a huge rift, and people from, you know, lower income homes assume that all the people from, you know, middle class and upper middle class don't want anything to do with them or can't be black because they're from those types of families.
Mm-hmm. I hate a lot of things in this life. One of the biggest things I cannot stand is I call them an educated Negro. I hate them with a passion. I have a disdain for you. I have a disdain for you worse than anything I can think of. So fuck you, you fucking educated Negro coons. You make me sick. I hate you.
Jay-Z don't want to take on the responsibility, even though he's in the fucking position. They ain't done shit. Who am I to tell Jay-Z what he needs to do with his money? That's no. It's not about me telling Jay-Z what he needs to do with the money. It's the audacity of jumping up and actually trying to take credit for shit that you ain't even do, nigga. You trying to take credit for shit that you haven't even fucking done. It's not enough. For further evidence, I direct you to your nearest black community.
I want you to now get ready for the Liberation Man, the shake 'em, bake 'em, stomp down, take no prisoners, kill the wounded, minister of no justice, no peace, the righteous Reverend Alfred C. for courageous Sharpton!
No justice! No justice! No justice! No peace!
You're on the air with Reverend Al Sharpton. Good morning.
Reverend Sharpton, you are the most, the greatest, and I say to you, keep on keeping on.
Thank you.
And I want
Sharpton is a preacher without a parish,
about the blatant racism,
but not without a following.
Well, I think that you're absolutely right. It is blatant. But my thing to the community is you fight back. The only thing that wins for us
is a good mobilized mass action battle.
8 Democrats running for the nomination. This time around, you got a chance and you got a choice. You want somebody who marched for you to get the right to vote. You got a choice. You want somebody who challenged corporate America to hire you and give you contracts. You got a choice.
Black people believe that if you got some Negro over-talking people, babbling, rambling on, talking loud, fished mouth, and all this gesticulating, that means that he made a point. This is where your pastors come from. But to black people, that impresses us. He talking loud, he sound confident, he must be good, he must be right. That impresses most black people.
Transcendentalism is that spiritual cognizance of the psychological irrepressibility.
A dandy and a buffoon, Zip Coon's attempts to imitate whites mocked the notion of racial equality. Zip Coon, proof of blacks' ludicrous failure to adapt to freedom.
A very vaginative proposition, my man, that is to say prostitution pertaining to the Kotek, you understand, of the argument. I myself have imminentized my liquidation.
He asked me who created the stars and the moon. All right? The sun goes through a transition of 554 million tons of hydrogen into a transition of 550 million tons of helium. And the other 4 million tons get hurled off into space and caught into the orbit of the sun, thus forming an elliptical orbit, meaning not a perfectly circular orbit, but a wildly shaped orbit. And after a while, it cools off and in turn becomes a planet or a rock, meteor, asteroid, any one of which. So the 554 million tons of hydrogen make a transition to 550 million tons of helium, and the 4 million tons get hurled off into space, called electrical storms, caught in the magnetism of the sun, and thus forming another celestial body. So when you ask what created the sun, when you ask what created the moon and the stars, the sun created the moon and the stars.
Detroiters are used to hearing inflammatory rhetoric at public meetings. But this outburst yesterday by Malik Shabazz pushed the limits in a city torn apart by one riot in the 40s and another in the 60s.
And before we let you take over our city, we will burn it down first.
We're not going to get anything done with that type of energy. You know, that a more calm mind would find us a solution that we all can live with.
We got to understand, nigger is a global phenomenon. And if you're a nigger wherever you are, this is why I use the term with promiscuity. I understand that as a nigger in America, there are niggers throughout the world. Can we connect through our core niggerdom to understand the vicious ways in which we have been subverted?
If I sit here today, and these are all white folks, and they're putting some sleeping pill in my water, and I sit up here and doze off and go to sleep, and everybody told in the world, niggas is lazy. They tired. No, that's because you too naive enough to know what they putting in my water. Okay? What are you putting in my malt liquor, white boy?
What are you putting in? Huh? Hear me. And it's your fault too. Malt liquor is made by white companies, but only sold in black neighborhoods, and you ain't checked it to see what's in it. Huh?
All this stuff that you've been told, all this stuff that you've been told about financial literacy, and the problem of African Americans is the lack of financial literacy. The problem that we have is that we don't know what to do with our money. The problem that we have is that we buy too much on shoes. The problem that we have is that we spend too much money. The problem that we have is that we're not good stewards of our households. There is no data to back up this idea that the reason that African Americans are behind white people in terms of aggregating wealth. There's no reason at all to believe that has anything to do with stuff that we're doing wrong. There's no reason at all to believe that has anything to do with stuff that we're doing wrong.
But to black people, that impresses us. He talking loud. He sound confident. He must be good. He must be right. That impresses most black people.
As an intellectual, which is, I guess, is what I consider myself, you know, there's a part of me that needs, you know, it's like I need consistency.
Some economists once said you know, at Chicago, economics is a full contact sport. And I don't know if you're aware of the back and forth that goes on. It's fierce. But the fact of the matter is that everyone recognizes you have to have facts, you have to have logic. You can't say that we believe this because everybody knows this. No, you've got to show how and why.
Dr. Carson, Trump has been on the campaign trail now for 15 months. This was his first trip to an inner city for a public event with African Americans. What do you think his trip accomplished?
Well, first of all, I recognize that traditionally the Republican Party has not made an extensive outreach to certain communities, including the African American community, because they've pretty much written that off as Democrat territory.
In the national media, interest in Detroit as a symbol of America's dark side has waned, as the city is now so socially and economically isolated from the mainstream that, for the average American, death in Detroit is every bit as distant as famine in Africa or war in Afghanistan.
Coleman Young was a man's man, strong, committed, intelligent. Not intelligent in the traditional sense of books or accreditation. Not intelligent in the traditional sense of books or accreditation.
Less than a decade ago, he was a rising star in the Democratic Party.
I dared mighty things for the citizens of my city.
He was the new hope for the Motor City.
To rise up! To rise up!
And then came scandal.
Do you owe him an apology?
After scandal,
I don't whore around on my wife.
after scandal.
We charged Kwame Kilpatrick with perjury.
And it all came crashing down.
Can you talk about how he might have hurt the city, though? I mean, with these corruption charges, this conviction.
I would have liked to have seen probation. I would have liked to have seen, since he hasn't murdered anyone, since he hasn't raped anyone, that his talents be used, his charisma, his intelligence, his speaking ability, his charisma, his speaking ability.
Blacks own nothing in a 90% black city. And that's why now Detroit went into poverty. That's why it was declared bankrupt. And I had over 1,000 blacks come across America and say, we will move and relocate our business to Detroit to build a black community, a black business district. We'll move our businesses into Detroit. Over 1,000 of them. And guess what? The town got scared and fighting. And they told black folks, no, we don't. It's racist for Anderson to come in and not include everybody and everything. And so that ended that effort. And so that's why Detroit failed. And when I tried to put in a plan there for black folk, they said it was racist for me to try to help black folk. They said, yes, Dr. Anderson, we admit in this town that we have an Asian town, a Chinatown, a Pole town, a hockey town, a Cork town, a Mexican town, and a Greek town, but it's racist for you to try to do something for black folk, to build a black town. And guess what the black leadership said? They sure is right.
We got some people who want to debate all day as if that's going to produce something. Or we got some black people who want to prove that they're the smartest person in the room. So they psychologically masturbate about history all day. And when the standard is, what have you built? What have you produced? What do you have that you can hand down to the next generation? That will settle all debate, because black people who are out there producing don't have time for arguing back and forth with one another. What I am talking about is, as black people, when we have the standard of you only get to speak based on what you have produced, reality is the final judge in all matters.
Al Sharpton is bad for African Americans. Is that what you're saying?
But unfortunately, the Al Sharpton types have been the rule rather than the exception. Now, you would think that the leaders, if they were looking out for the best interests of their followers, no, they fought tooth and nail against it. Ethnic leaders, particularly leaders of groups that are lagging, are a major obstacle to advancement because their self-interest is in keeping their group isolated. And isolation has been tied in with poverty for all kinds of groups and all kinds of settings around the world.
Welcome to Mobile Home University. This is our teacher Frank Rolfe. He's made a fortune from trailer parks. So have billionaires like Warren Buffett and Sam Zell. All these people want to become trailer park millionaires too.
What do you think about, this tour we're on is all quite rich people that are going around the country buying up parks and then putting the rents up because they know that it costs you a lot to move?
I haven't had that one yet.
Do you think it's right that people really rich already want to squeeze?
Well, I understand a business aspect of it, but as far as the right, no, I don't agree with it.
Do you think it's right that someone so rich should be owning mobile homes and putting the rent up every year?
Well, I don't see anything wrong with it. He's a businessman.
And then do you think you'll stay here? Do you like it?
No, I gotta move.
Why?
Because I can't afford it.
Say trailer park.
Brandon.
Goldberg is one of the elite dealers who specialize in rare and precious stones. He has a team of cutters working just off Fifth Avenue.
This man, for example, he's cutting the 85 carat stone. Right now it's around 36 and a half carats, and he's putting the finishing facets on the bottom of the stone. The man behind him, brilliantiered, put the finishing facets on the top of the stone. These gentlemen are very skilled, and they bring out the final fire in the diamond, the brilliantiering.
Little wonder Liu Jingye acts like a general leading his troops to war. Mr. Ye is obsessed with quality control. His aim? Boost output without compromising quality.
Like, I always wonder what happens to people if they don't have an excuse. That's one of the greatest things about being white is nobody gives you an excuse.
Right.
And
kind of have to just
maybe that's the case
way.
with Asians too. Like, there's no excuse. And I always wonder if that excuse wasn't there, how could people do?
Vlad, think about this. Poor white people, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing is worse than being poor and white because it's your fault.
What do you mean?
You had everything going for you. When you're poor and a minority, people apologize to you. They go, oh my God, we did this to you. We're so sorry that we put you and you had this systemic oppression, all this shit. When you're poor and white,
I have been poor.
When you're poor and white, people go, use your fucking skin, stupid. There's no sympathy for white poverty.
Many of you have emailed me and expressed your concern and disappointment with the fact that even though Michael Jordan has made all this money, he hasn't been particularly active or supportive or vocal in the African American community. In fact, he's actually, to some people would say, been detrimental to the progress of black people, which is really interesting, particularly given the time in which we live. We live in a time where black people are expected to be conscientious. Black people are waking up. We're becoming more sensitive to our plight, to the massive black unemployment, black people being shot in the street by police, mass incarceration of African American youth, black people being affected by drugs and weapons being dropped into our communities, poor educational systems, etc. And so the idea that one of the leading, most iconic African Americans in the country has been shown to be somewhat desensitized to these issues is really something that we should think about. We should ask ourselves, why is that acceptable? Why is it okay that this guy is making all this money off your kids and doesn't feel like he owes anybody anything?
Jordan hooking himself up and hooking his homies up is not the same as hooking up the masses of black people or using the breadth of your power to help millions and millions of black people in the community. I'm not going to throw Michael Jordan under the bus on this, but I will say that I'm not particularly sure exactly how much the world benefits by selling black people these really overpriced shoes that they're highly addicted to, that kids are being shot over, and then when these shootings are occurring, you don't have anything to say. You don't say a word. You don't step out to give away some of your product for those who can't afford it. Give away some of your product for those who can't afford it so they don't end up killing each other over the shoes. You don't express any significant concern about the fact that these things are happening.
The stereotype for black Americans is poverty, failure, victimization, and mediocrity.
Yeah, brother, what do you want?
You ain't no kin to me.
That's right, and we ain't your brothers. How come you college motherfuckers think y'all run everything? We may not have your education, but we ain't dirt neither.
And ain't nobody said all of that, all right?
You Mission Punk's always talking down to us.
Look, brother, I'm real sorry that you feel that way, okay? I'm really sorry about that.
Are you black?
Take a look in the mirror, man. Look, man, you got a legitimate beef, all right? But it ain't with us, okay?
Are you black?
Hey, look, man, don't ever question the fact whether I'm black.
Now, I bet you niggas do think y'all white. College don't mean shit. Y'all niggas. And you gonna be niggas forever. Just like us.
Nobody seems to have a solution to what was going on. And then we built all these motherfucking mega churches all around the city, $30, $40 million, while people's lights and gas is getting cut off right down the block. We fucked up. We confused. You know, there's no leadership. How can you build a $30 fucking million church in a neighborhood that's worth 10 cents? And when what you need with a $30 million church, when people are suffering and can't feed their families right down the street from you, who are you worshiping? What God is this?
I'm trying to say go to the huge pension funds, corporate and public, that hold a huge amount of this nation's wealth. And a big portion of that wealth comes out of the pockets of African Americans who pay to their pension fund. But unfortunately, very little of that money is managed by African Americans. Because the rap on African Americans is, you guys don't know how to manage money. You guys don't know how to create wealth. And, you know, the reason that people are able to get away with that is because there's so few African Americans who have accumulated visible wealth to say, wait a minute, we know how to do it. Look, I did it. So my point is, what I try to do is to say, I'm going to show the pension fund advisors who are really running black folks' money, that black folks have the ability to take that money and return value just as white folks do. So what I set out to do with these funds, whether it's hedge fund, private equity, real estate, is to rebut that question by saying, look, I can assemble a team of talented people from Wharton, Stanford, who could easily work at Citicorp, easily work at Lehman or Merrill, and I'm going to take them, put them under my umbrella, and we're going to create value just as Blackstone or Apollo or some of these other funds do.
I have started or helped start dozens of companies and initially hired lots of people. But if there was no one around who could afford to buy what we had to sell, all those companies and all those jobs would have evaporated. That's why I can say with confidence that rich people don't create jobs, nor do businesses large or small. Jobs are a consequence of a circle of life-like feedback loop between customers and businesses. And only consumers can set in motion this virtuous cycle of increasing demand and hiring. In this sense, an ordinary consumer is more of a job creator than a capitalist like me. That's why when business people take credit for creating jobs, it's a little bit like squirrels taking credit for creating evolution. It's actually the other way around. Anyone who's ever run a business knows that hiring more people is a course of last resort for capitalists. It's what we do if and only if rising consumer demand requires it. And in this sense, calling ourselves job creators isn't just inaccurate, it's disingenuous.
In this presentation, we will introduce you to the basic definition of synergy and how it can positively impact your workplace. The meaning of synergy in context of the workplace is when two or more people work together and the result is greater than the sum of their individual capabilities. Research shows that the advantages of a team working together effectively far outweighs the results produced by individuals working in isolation on the same project. This proves that synergy is a vital component to a highly efficient workplace.
Now, one woman is the face of a changing image of Compton. Asia Brown was elected mayor in a landslide victory in 2013, and she is the youngest mayor in Compton's history. With degrees in public policy and urban planning, Mayor Brown has launched ambitious initiatives, what she calls her 12-point plan involving new construction, budget reforms, music, and education programs.
just recently built Rosendale Dairy, which is one of the largest farms in the state.
Facilities and inspects them regularly to make sure prepared separately from processed meats in temperature-controlled facilities to prevent contamination. Employees are expertly trained in trimming excess fat,
In its first week of operation, the student-run cafeteria serves more than 400 meals a day.
Now let me ask you this question, and this is pretty interesting for me. When you and your ex-husband sold BET, a lot of people were upset. Oh my God, selling this black firm. But I said that that's an asset, that you grow it, you build it, to be able to essentially buy something like this.
Well, exactly, and you have to understand, when Viacom made the offer, it's about business. It's about business.
It's about business.
Right. And you gotta, we would have been dumb to turn that down.
Mm-hmm.
So where did I get this first kind of inkling to get into the business world? And really it was a couple of people that I'll mention names. One was Jim Fitzgerald, who was the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, and another person, a gentleman by the name of Sam Walton. You all know Sam Walton from Walmart.
Nah, I felt some type of way.
One of our better businesses, Bay Electric, out of Chesapeake, Virginia, he started getting franchises from Marriott. And so he builds the hotel. His family operates the hotel. And he goes on and on. And so when I first met him, he was doing about $200 million a year. He's approaching $1 billion a year now.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow, that's
and
amazing.
that rage out there in North and South Dakota where they're building all these homes for people working the oil fields, he builds those homes for Exxon.
Bay Electric Company, and John will be delivering remarks on project labor agreements and card checks.
Some of the things I want to talk about, Bay Electric Company, it was a company founded over 45 years ago. I bought it roughly almost 11 years ago. We've grown 70 times the size from when I first bought it. Two brothers in the business with me. It's been through hard work.
Nah, I felt some type of way.
This experiment focuses on how does aging affect your ability to initiate immunity given a particular pathogen such as colon cancer. When my friends was out on vacation, I was in the lab. At first they made fun of me. They're like, come on, man, why do you want to be in the lab all day? At the end, we started seeing things, man, like progressing. It was like, wow. Overall, it brought all of us up. Now, a lot of my friends are that much more motivated to do better, and they told me, you inspiring me, and that was kind of like nice to hear.
The Gulf Coast, hit hard by Hurricane Katrina, is fighting back. With these, houses that can take on Category 5 hurricanes and win.
Don't get under a moving house.
A revolutionary new way to build.
That's the whole side of the house right there.
Coming your way.
Faster.
I'm pulling, Duck!
And stronger. And it's all done in 2 weeks.
Every single aspect of the construction process of the house is located under one roof.
Under one roof. Joel, the company's president, has solved the problem of speed.
I gotta go find my man, Duck.
Duck supervises all the construction in the factory.
Duck!
Where's your name tag at?
Where's my name tag? I don't have one.
And as the new guy, I get my very own name tag.
Tenderfoot?
That's your name tag.
Why am I Tenderfoot?
That's what they say your name was.
Is this what all the new guys get?
All the new guys get them, every one of them.
Duck gets me started on the assembly line. Station 1, the floor.
In this jig, each piece gets fit into place perfectly, so every board, every piece is perfectly horizontal and perfectly vertical. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Here we go, let's do it.
Now, Rose's house rolls down the assembly line to the next critical station, plumbing.
And the man who does that is right here. How you doing?
How you doing?
What's your name?
My real name is Harvey Ellison, but my nickname is Hello. They call me Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, Hello World, nationwide.
Every team at the factory must be two things, fast and perfect. Hello World is on it.
So, Hello, how many kitchens do you think you've done?
About 500.
500?
Yeah.
Hello. Amazing. Whole kitchen, 5 minutes time. Hello World just plumbed a whole kitchen. You are the fastest plumber I've ever met in my entire life.
All right.
One of the things that white folk really appreciated about when they chose their slaves was called docility. Docility meant that black folk have an intern disposition that makes them willing to accept their position in life, their status in life, and all they want to do is to be at the beck and call at the arm of whites. That was the term they always used, that he's a very docile black. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the problems we have not been able to get over now.
Please welcome the author, Tom Burrell. There is a chapter in this book where you talk about the fact, Tom, that we black folk have been bred to be led. Tell me more.
Well, throughout our history, we were taught that we could not do it by ourselves. The idea that somehow we were less than, not as good as white people. The images that keep saying to us that we are indeed inferior. We bought it, And we not only bought it, but true to any kind of brainwashing, the brainwashed becomes a part of the brainwashing team. The abused become a part of the abusers. And that's where we are. We are the chief perpetrators of our own victimization.
On the slave plantation, there was a slave politics. And the slave politics went something like this. They were natural slaves. And when I say natural slaves, it means they had a propensity to be slaves. They had a orientation that made it easy for them to be slaves, and they were oriented in their minds and in their spirits in such a way that they knew how to function efficiently on a slave plantation. They had no desire to be free. Given the desire, they would stay on the plantation and fight to maintain the plantation setup.
There is no black elite. In fact, there is no hierarchy amongst slaves.
That's what tracked off our focus as to being as a whole. You know, I wanna have more money than you. You know, I don't want you to have more money than me, because then you're going to get more than what instead of us being a team, and we can build and everybody can eat.
Women still tend to want to go towards the most powerful man, and if you're going by the racial hierarchy, then he is the white guy right up at the top. White men are seen at the top of the racial hierarchy. I'm sorry, we live in America, there's a racial hierarchy. White men are right at the tippy top.
"60 years ago, Israel fought and won a war for its independence. For Palestinians, defeat was a catastrophe. The two sides have been fighting ever since. History is never far away. This kibbutz, or communal farm, was founded in the 1930s by Jews from Poland. They were Zionists who wanted to return to the biblical home of the Jews to make a state.
We build a society with our own hands, by new forms of life, not only by high technology, the kibbutzim and the development towns. Those are forms of life that without it you cannot understand what Israel is. We developed the best agriculture maybe on earth.
Small communities of religious Jews had remained in Palestine since Roman times. The new Jewish immigrants were different. Many were socialists and atheists who wanted to escape persecution and to create a new society.
A dream to change the Jewish nature from a nation of merchants and bankers to a nation of farmers and fighters.
They swore Jews would never be defenseless again.
60 years on, Israelis have a lot to celebrate. It's been an extraordinary feat of nation building.
What we need here is not merely an economic revolution. What we also need is going to be an intra-cultural revolution. Black people are going to have to get comfortable with the idea, and I've said it for years and people still ain't listening. Black people are going to have to get comfortable with the idea of going to a black-owned grocery store, seeing black cashiers, black stockers, black managers, and being cool with it. Black people are going to have to get used to the idea of going to functions where black people are the ones in charge, the ones who organize them, and ain't nothing in the room but black people. Black people are going to have to get used to the ideas of black schools with black teachers, black faculty, black administrators, black principals. We're going to have to get comfortable with that idea.
Black men in America, you are failures. Somebody needs to tell you the truth, uncut and raw. Black men in America, you're failures. And that's exactly why nobody takes you serious, because you are failures.
Black patriarch.